Alright, my apologies, man. I just did this whole thing without having any microphone audio enabled. So let's get another rundown of this. I'm going to be doing a brief tutorial walkthrough of Ill Manners drug running mod for DayZ and how to set up some of the JSON configurable settings files for the mod. There is two that come with the mod. The first one is very basic and handles all the cultivation settings for crops and plants, and we'll dive into that real briefly. And more importantly, there's the second one, which handles all the crafting recipes, workbench settings, and that's the purpose of this video right here, is to kind of get people able to, if they have any questions, this will help cover that. So let's dive straight into it, man. First thing, I guess we'll go over to the workshop page for the mod. Um, Down here in the description, you can find a link to the wiki pages on Notion. Set up a website here, and we'll just click that. Basically, it's going to take us to this website. On here, it's got a ton of information, bunch of links you can click to, features, gallery, development, if you want to stay in tune with some of the developmental aspects of it, and server files is what we'll be focusing on for this video. We'll just go ahead and click this. Um, I make every effort to keep these up to date and with the, updated versions and information on here. So there's a few places that you can find these JSON files. One of them is on this Notion site. Another one is within the mod folder itself. So when you add the mod and install it and subscribe to it, this gets put to your workshop folder. And from there, you just go find the mod. Inside, you can see a required JSON. And I've included both folders that handle the config files for it. Uh, it's also available in the Discord if you need to grab those. I'll make them easily accessible and widely available for folks. So the importance of this, man, is that these files, the first one that handles the cultivation aspects gets automatically produced upon server initialization. When you first install the mod and kick up your server for the first time, both of these files get produced automatically. The cultivation one you don't have to worry about too much unless you want to go in and, adjust the time frames, crop count outputs, and, the options to remove the plant upon harvesting. Unless you wanted to change any of those settings, you don't have to worry about this file too much. It comes default with these settings that seemed most appropriate to me when I was first putting them all together. So in here, we have the default grow times for all the cannabis plants, the coca plant, and all the mushroom spore colonies. Down here, we have a new addition that was introduced in the most recent update. We have remove after crop harvest, and this is a global setting here. So this one, handles all the mods plants um, globally. If you set this to 1 and it's default set to enabled at 1, then it will remove the plant after a crop has been harvested. This was requested by the community to prevent any exploitative abuse that players could have upon if some of these plants, depending on your settings, for lifetime, they'll stay persistent to their lifetime, and upon server restarts, if this is not enabled, then those plants will reproduce a crop after a set amount of time or upon a server restart. So this kind of was implemented to combat that. So you can keep this enabled. And it also has an option down here that is plant specific. So let's say maybe you wanted your coca plants to be removed, your cannabis plants to be removed, but you wanted the spore colonies to not be removed upon harvest. However you wanted to do that, you could set a setting for each one of these plant types to one, which is enabled to remove, or disabled for 0. And that's pretty much that, man. It's really basic, but it's there for you guys to work with. The second one, uh, which one is really important, especially when you're first subscribing to the mod and setting up the server. Like I said, this file is going to get automatically created upon server initialization. You can go in and put it there manually if you want to. It's going to, I'll show you guys where it gets sent to. So for those of you that are running servers, depending on your service provider, you know, by default, this gets sent to a config file on a DayZ server, which all DayZ servers have it. Some providers manage the folder a little bit differently. Sometimes it might be called instance, sometimes it might be under profiles. Wherever yours is set to, find it and get familiar with it if you're not already. So we'll just go to config. You'll see here that there is one for IM7's drug run and it's a tree mods. We want to go into it's a tree mods or create it if it's not there already and you wanted to manually do it. There's going to be a file for crafting plus config.json. And that's the one that we want to focus on for this video because it's really important to have this set up in order for the mod to function with the crafting of recipes and stuff like that. So as you can see here, this one it handles recipe managers. There's basically 3 recipe managers at the time of this video, and each one is pertinent to a workstation. So you'll see here one is for the drug lab station, there's another for the pill press, and there's another for the production table. And how this works is that, it has the display name, so it's telling you what recipe this section of code applies to. This one is for the blue batch made with the torch. The required tool is a blowtorch. This one tells you how much damage gets applied to that tool each time a craft is happening. It's set to 0 by default. And then how much quantity of the tool gets depleted upon crafting. Um, so basically, as you guys might be familiar with, on the blowtorch there is a propane gas canister. Anytime you craft with that canister to make a batch, this will deplete that quantity by 5. And same goes for the lighter, duct tape, and Ziploc bags for the production table, and so on and so forth. They all have their own quantity depletion to keep immersive gameplay at its core, which is awesome. And uh, then we have required ingredients. This one goes down each ingredient slot name. So it tells you which ingredient is going to be used, how much of that ingredient is going to be consumed. This one, it doesn't handle full values, so you can't put decimal points to this at this time. And it tells you if an item is protected. So if you wanted to change this to like a protected item, let's say you didn't want the ammonia to be consumed upon crafting this batch, you would just enable this and it'll protect that item from being entirely consumed. But that's all up to you guys. It's a cool feature to have available, and I'm very grateful to the author of Crafting Plus Tree for working with us and getting this implemented and available to you guys to be able to really utilize the mod however you guys see fit. So down here we have recipe results. This one basically is just telling you what item is going to be produced by this recipe, and it goes off of class names. So item quantity, this is going to produce 1 tray with a full amount of health to that tray. And then there's another for the lighters, so on and so forth. We'll get down here a little bit to this is for the pill production recipes, which handles from the pill press. This one's pretty simple, but it expands upon the options that you guys have for like, uh, you know, which pills that this recipe produces, how many of them does it output. Right now, I've set the pill press to work as, it will increase output 2 times compared to what it would be if you were crafting this recipe by hand, which is an option too. But if you have the pill press and you use it for this recipe, it'll give you twice the amount of pills, which is going to help if you're grinding. So you can adjust this accordingly, however you want to fit your economy. Uh, and then we'll get into the production table recipes. And this one basically, as you guys might know, handles all the brick productions. So large scale quantities happen on the production table, and this has recipes for both the Ziploc bag and for duct tape for each type. Um, you guys don't need to worry about the required color. Keep that as is. I wouldn't recommend changing that unless you don't want a recipe to work. But down here you can define how many, for this example would be to bag up blue meth brick. So in here you can define how many shards it requires in each slot in order to produce a brick. Um, and the same goes for cannabis recipes for the brick. Same goes for the pill bricks, and same goes for, there's options in here for the coke brick, for the pill bundles. All of that stuff is available for you guys to kind of, customize here. As I said, the only thing I wouldn't touch is the required color entries. Keep those as is, or it will break the recipe. Uh, but yeah, man, this is a required step in order for these recipes to work. You will need to replace the default version that gets produced upon initialization because it doesn't contain those recipes needed for the mod to work. So it is vital that you update that file, but once you do, you're good to go. And like I said, these are available on the Notion page here. They're also available in the Discord, and they're also available in your guys' mod folder under the required JSON uh, folder there. They're both available. So make sure you guys set those up, uh, and play around with them if you want. And that pretty much covers that, man. But one more thing I will touch on before I sign off for this little tutorial video is I just want to kind of touch on the benefits of having Crafting Plus as a dependency for the mod. Because I feel like it not only provides a great framework for us to be able to, afford the community an opportunity to utilize some of these more complex crafting methods, but with the recent update that its author tree has brought to the table, man, it does, with this JSON file, it allows you guys to be able to also create additional workbenches and workstations for your server if that's what you want to do. And it would all run out of this centralized crafting plus JSON file. And in the event you wanted to, if you take the time and look into that mod's documentation, it's really well supported, man. The dude's um, he does really good work, and it's all available there for you to learn more about. I won't dive into too much on that here, but if you're comfortable with like doing overrides and learning about that mod and seeing how you want to maybe add some additional workstations, whether it be for leather crafting, whatever you can think of, man, that's available for you to do here. And you would just add those entries to this file in addition to what's already listed here. Um, but I would definitely check it out, man. It expands upon the possibilities of core mechanics that should be in the base game but aren't. And this mod that we utilize as a dependency, man, is very beneficial in terms of offering those kind of opportunities for folks to benefit from. So, uh, with that being said, man, I want to thank you guys for subscribing to the mod, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can continue to, provide and expand upon some of this stuff and see how far we can take this, man. Thank you guys for your support. And if you have any questions that weren't covered in this video, or have any other questions about the mod in general, man, the support Discord link is in the description on the workshop page. You can come holler at me on Discord. You know, ask your question or whatever it may be. Give me a holler, and if it's something I can help out with, or you got a suggestion or anything like that, man, or you want to share some content to kind of showcase with the community. I'm all for it, man. I've set up a little community showcase page here for people that want to like share their screenshots, or maybe you guys have taken a video on your server of some mod gameplay and stuff like that, man. I'll be sure to add you to this uh, site page here and link your guys' server descriptions and credit who contributed in that sense, man. So definitely